I'm just going to get my slides into presentation mode. Robin, did you want to introduce first?
Yes, thank you very much, everyone, for attending this session today, part of the Otter Institute. This is going to be a joint presentation. My colleagues on the call with me include Chris Marchese and Nicole Simon. My name is Robin Sullivan. I'm from the University of Buffalo, and Chris and Nicole are faculty at Nassau Community College. And Jamie had asked if, for recommendations about presenters to talk about supporting emerging technologies that support instructional goals. And so I've talked often to many of the SUNY webinars, but I recruited two great colleagues who are fellows in the SUNY EmTechMOOC project. They will talk at length about the project and about how you can, just determine which technologies are best for your particular objectives. But I also want to congratulate both of them and other members of the EmTech team. Just yesterday, a small grant has come through to help us keep moving this project forward. So with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Chris and Nicole, but I will probably interject a little bit here and there. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Robin. Just checking that the chat is clear. Okay, great. Thank you. So the topic of today's talk is selecting emerging technologies to support your instructional goals. And as Robin stated, Nicole and I are both fellows for the EmTechMOOC, and we've been doing extensive work with the wiki. And today's presentation is going to give a little bit of background on the MOOC for those of you who are not familiar with it, but will be primarily focused on the wiki and how to use it, because by the time we leave our session today, our limited time together, we want you to all be users of the wiki at the very least. And then if we can entice you to take the MOOC, that's a bonus. So Nicole and I are both from Nassau Community College, which is located on Long Island. We teach in different departments. She is a STEM professor, and I'm actually a professor of business administration. So we have used these tools, and we continually use the wiki for some common purposes as well as very different ones in each of our disciplines. That's us. Okay, that's me with my hair blown out. It's still me. There's our contact information. We will bring that up at the end of the presentation again as well.
Okay, so when we talk about EmTechMOOC, it's really taking a look at discovery learning, exploring, reflecting on innovative and creative uses of emerging technologies, more specifically, how you can use them to enhance your learning through professional development, or how you can actually incorporate portions of this wiki into your courses, or learn about the tools and start building out your course material. And I always suggest that, you have a two-guided approach to this. You take a look at what I can learn from it and how I can apply it to my classes. And if you go in with that mindset, not only are you playing in all the tools and you're learning about them, but you're starting to build course material at the same time. So it's very efficient, it's very effective, and it's so much fun. And you will start to get lost in the myriad of options that you have. And that's what we want to take a look at today, how you can start to pull it back a little bit and guide it towards what you best need for your courses and for your own learning level.
All right, so this learning opportunity, who do we target it to? We target to all learners. Everyone's a learner. Anyone with an interest to stay current with today's rapidly changing technologies, and especially students and instructors.
So this is a learning process. So when we take a look at what you need for a learning process, you want to read and view and participate in course materials, taking a look at what you can gain from it, what you can learn again on a professional level and also on a personal level. Once you start playing with these tools and you start learning about it, and I do say playing with them because it's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to have so much fun learning from them. It's not just what you can bring to your students, it's a matter of what your students can learn from them, how it can be applied to your courses, how this can actually help you in your everyday life. I know that I've streamlined a lot over the past year, not just because we were in COVID, but because I felt that I actually finally had the time of not commuting to streamline a lot of my digital work. making sure that you explore the wiki, the tools, the resources, and being able to complete the discovery exercises. It's not just about taking a look at what it has to offer, but it's about discovering what it is that can enhance your learning and your life. Sharing an artifact. This is so important. We're all educators of some level. Once we learn, we have an ethical need to share. So make sure that you go back and share what you've learned, what you've reflected on in those discovery exercises, how good the tools are to help you. And certainly you can start putting that into an e-portfolio, building out what you've learned, building out how you can share this with your courses, share this with your colleague. And as a side note, at the end, you can actually earn digital badges, which we all love, and a Coursera course certificate.
So this learning process is supportive of being a lifelong learner. And that is really kind of how it's geared and what it's driven towards. So we don't expect you to use this today and not come back to it. We want you to have all that it offers kind of embedded in you as you move forward indefinitely. So some of the learner rewards, Nicole already mentioned some of them. We have the personal e-portfolio, which can be remapped for different purposes. I know that some SUNY campuses use e-portfolios as a matter of curriculum. Not all campuses do, ours does not. So when we incorporate e-portfolios into our courses, it's kind of on a case-by-case basis, but we are working really hard on being able to share all that we're able to harness by implementing them. The Coursera Certificate of Completion, digital badges, and of course, the intrinsic rewards of being a lifelong learner.
These are some of the examples of the portfolios that we've taken throughout the years. They can be anything from just going in and having fun. I know I have several e-portfolios that I've done over the years where, starting as a novice, what do I need to have fun? What I can do. I've actually built an e-portfolio for my students on how to build an e-portfolio, which I think is always very, very important. Just also what you learn from doing the EmTech course. If you want to curate that information, by topic, by module, if you want to curate for a particular project or a capstone for your degree, you have so many different choices. As Chris said, it's really dependent upon if your campus uses it. Certainly go with what's best for your campus. And if not, absolutely explore and have fun.
So there are so many choices, and this graphic is just kind of a brief smattering of how many different technology tools are available to us and to our students. It is an ever-growing and changing selection of new tools. I always feel like once I finally get something down, now there's something else I want to play with, which we will be doing today. There is variation on purpose, there's variation on quality, and so how do we know what to choose? So we have a question for you. What are your go-to tech tools that you started using this past year? We are doing a Menti. I had to. It worked so well on Monday that Nicole and I were just compelled to create two for our presentation as well. So you can see the code is in the left-hand side of the screen, 27181640. Or you can scan the QR code with the camera of your phone. I'm doing it myself right now to make sure this actually runs the way I anticipate. Thank you, Robin, for putting it into the chat. I was just about to do it.
And Chris, if you stop sharing for a moment, I will switch over to the Menti and we can take a look live.
There you are.
Just move this out of the way so we can see.
Oh, somebody put up VoiceThread in the last presentation. I did see a comment in the chat regarding being able to comment on and mark up a video being more difficult than doing, those same tasks with a paper or term paper, a written assignment. And VoiceThread actually helps with that type of activity, with being able to stop a student video at a particular point and insert your feedback either textually or with your voice or video yourself.
And for those of you who don't have VoiceThread embedded in your LMS at your campus, Flipgrid is a fantastic option. See a lot of different choices. Edpuzzle, absolutely. Use Edpuzzle all the time for classes. Kahoot's always great for games. I see a lot of Padlet.
Yeah.
Those of you who know me know I love my Padlet.
See, and I was going to hold back on the comments. It's a very effective tool.
It is. Nomi is also a great option as well. So you can see that people are using a lot of different tech tools, and it's interesting to see the different variety. It's interesting to see the different overlap. So we're going to keep that open. We're going to continue on with the presentation for right now.
All right.
Chris,
In the
I'll turn it
chat,
back to you.
sure. In the chat, I was also reading, we do have another lover of VoiceThread, which is great. WebEx, Nomia, and Nomia is ending. So I think Susan put that they are looking at Panopto, and is it Yuja, Y-U-J-A? That one's new to me. Oh, Paula is asking, is there a way for us to get back to the list? I believe there's a way for us to embed it in our presentation for when we post the presentation for you.
I was just
yeah,
typing that in there. Yes, I'm going to add a screenshot to the slide deck.
Perfect. I was trying to be skillful in incorporating some data mining into our presentations so that we'd all have the benefit of it afterwards. All right, go back to, here we go. So sorry, my computer's a little wiggy. Believe it or not, because I stopped sharing screen, it just started to reload. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the 7,532 tabs I have open on my computer. So just one moment of patience and thank you.
Would you like me to share and I can advance the slides?
Sure, Robin. I'm so sorry. All I have is the head slide on my screen right now, and it's just looping. I see, Jamie. Thank you for that information. There we go. All right, so Nicole, if it's okay with you, I'll pick up with the wiki. So I have a passion for the wiki. It's not really a big secret. It is a socially curated repository of all of these freely available tools and resources. So we're not making recommendations for things that you have to find a budget for, because I think we have all within SUNY felt the pinch, especially in the last year, that, well, first of all, we have different tools on different campuses and we don't really have budgets for new things right now. So I feel like that's a really great strength of the wiki. The wiki is used in the MOOC to complete the assignments. You create your artifacts, finding tools that you search for within the wiki. But this is an open website that's also available as a standalone resource. And so today we are going to engage you in utilizing this fantastic standalone resource.
So we have some examples of some tools and instructional uses that we've used, and we'll take a look at how this relates to the wiki and the different modules in the MOOC. We took a look at some of the community collaboration that we've done, and if you click on the Edpuzzle link, that will actually bring you to an Edpuzzle that I created for my class. What's nice about it is you can just throw in any name there, it's fine. What's nice about being able to use Edpuzzles is you can embed this into your course. You can bring it in very quickly. You can do real-time quizzing for formative or summative assessment for students. They're able to watch a video. They're able to answer questions. And it's a little bit easier than having to set up in your LMS system a formal quiz. And what's nice is the students can go back. They can take it as many times as they want. They can learn about any different topic. So that's just one aspect of being able to use some of the tools. Taking a look at how we can use it, again, face-to-face, remote, and blended or fully online class. Miro is another great option. It's great for taking a look at being able to do project management. I think that I'll show you, I could show you my Miro, but it looks like a hot mess, to be honest. There's too many people in it all at once, but it's great for project management if you have a smaller group. It's also very nice if students are working on projects in a face-to-face, remote, or synchronous session. Padlet. Again, love Padlet. I happen to use this for my COIL sections, which is great so that my students are able to have each different team. They have a whole area where they can start to discuss things with one another. They can upload their projects. At the end of their projects, they can create their videos for their final project. It's a nice, easy platform for students to be able to build out their final projects, put up their videos for their final projects. You have so many different choices for it. You can set up any which way. And again, it's a nice, easy tool. Students don't have to have an account for it, and low cost or free. I also use it for icebreaker introductions for my students, both for my COIL sections and for my non-COIL sections. So again, face-to-face, remote, blended, and online. So lots of different options that are easy to use. And I think that's the point. There's so many different levels you can span for your tech abilities, whether you're a novice or whether you're advanced. The same thing with your students. Having that flexibility, that's the whole point of being able to do EmTech and go through the wiki.
So for creativity, we also listed TriCider and Powtoon, which kind of fits in perfectly with it today. We were talking about when's a good time to make a video and what kind of video you're going to make. And what I really like about Powtoon is that it's animated and I can do voiceovers for it as well as have the text appear on my screen. It doesn't take up a ton of room. And students tend to have a very positive reaction to having little videos. This one I did not do the voiceover on, so it's just text on a screen. Everything will be linked in our presentation so that you can click on it and explore yourself if we can't get this to load right now. The audio isn't sharing, Robin. It's just music in the background for this particular one. So basically this little animation, I have my goals described as well as examples for how I achieve the goals and then what next steps will be. So it's kind of a good template for students and student assignments. I'm not sure why the audio is not going. Oh, good, Nicole, you saw the part in the chat. All right, great. Next slide. So the 4 C's of 21st century skills, which is how the modules are broken out within the MOOC. The first module is about lifelong learning, which we already mentioned, and having everyone become engaged with that. And then there's communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Next slide.
So right now we're taking a look at going towards the MOOC and what it is that this can offer for you. You have the ability to rate a tool, and we highly encourage everyone to do that once you play and explore with a tool. And again, you'll hear me say play very, very often. And I think that's the whole point of using technology. You want to learn from it, you want to learn with it, and you want to have fun with it. So definitely rate a tool. We like to see, you know, who's using what, why they're using it, how they're using it. You can actually go right into the wiki and create an account and add tools, modify them if something changes. With everything changing so rapidly with technology, I think that a lot of times, you know, sites are being taken down, apps are being changed constantly. I know that one I put up there has changed already. And then from there, you can start to build out if you want to join the MOOC or if you want to just stay in the wiki and discover what's going on in technology. Next slide.
So we want to know, for the go-to tools that we just listed in the previous Menti, how did you find them?
Nicole, do you want to reshare?
Sure. So how did you find your go-to tools? It's a tougher question, huh?
Well, the little box isn't there, so everybody has to type it in.
Oh, here, I'm going to get the link up right now into the chat box.
Teaching academies, it seems to be a big one. No one's done just a Google search yet. Webinars, conferences. Absolutely. I think that's where most people get a lot of their tools from. Someone mentions something, someone writes it down, go back, you start exploring. EmTechMOOC, thank you.
I wasn't even the one who typed that in.
IT, for those of you who have IT departments who recommend things, fantastic. On our campus, our IT is straight IT. Our distance ed department is more tech related. So ours is a little bit broken out differently. Asking other faculty, absolutely. And that's why we encourage you. Find something, go forth and share. Rate the tools, tell us what's going on, tell each other. It's the best way to share this information. Virtual campuses, absolutely. Word of mouth. Ed tech blogs, they always have great information. It's always changing. Certainly colleagues, I'm surprised someone didn't put that in earlier.
Conferences and CPD.
Online and academic discussions. Students were always a great resource. Remember what type of students we have. We have students who are not new to this. They've lived in a digital world their entire life. Okay, for time's sake, I'm going to switch it back over.
Oh, Josie Coleman is lucky. They have an ed tech technology committee who presents to them.
So do we.
But not everybody does.
Nope.
All right, so we had those 4 C's up on a previous slide, and this is where it was leading to. Within the wiki, you can start to search and filter for tools based on those categories. There are multiple ways to navigate the wiki, and we are going to, oh, I just saw something in the chat for top tools for learning. Thank you. The more resources we share, the better. But after we look at that and how many different places we've been just to find our 2 or 3 favorite tools, isn't it wonderful to know that there is a repository that you can go to that has contributions from all of those sources already? So here we see that we can filter, we can apply filters on the left, the collaborate, communicate with others, raise awareness, share information. There is across the middle top, this blue bar of buttons for lifelong learning, communication and collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. And then on the left, there are subcategories as well. Each time you search, we have to reset our search options if you're going to tweak it in any different way. And the reason why we're showing you this is because we want you to go into the wiki. We're going to break out for an exercise. I'm just.
And if you notice the 4 bars, the first one starts out with lifelong learning, because that is the whole point of both the MOOC and the wiki. You are lifelong learners. We want you to stay with that. We want you to encourage your students to do this as well. How do we do this best? By communicating and collaborating with each other, sharing this information, by being creative, and then certainly thinking critically.
All right, so we put a link into the chat, and we are now going to invite you all to participate in an exploring and sharing exercise. We've put the link for the wiki in the chat. If you could click on that to break out into it. And then may I ask, who has the access to create breakout rooms? Because it's not on my screen.
I can do it for you.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
How many rooms do you want? How do you want to do it?
Breakouts. I
4?
will, yeah.
And just assign automatically, or let participants choose? Let's do it automatically.
I was just gonna say automatically in the interest of time. We plan to do automatically, and we're going to have 4 breakouts. I'm putting it in the chat. In each breakout, we want you to explore the wiki together. You could have one person drive, or you can all be doing it at the same time, and find a tool that will fit the theme of the room that you're going into. So one room will be communication. I'm so sorry, Jamie. I thought I could just do this myself like I do for my classes.
I can actually, you know what, Chris, let me make you host, and that way you can do it.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, just make me host at the end if that's all right.
Oh gosh, yes.
Now we have to, okay, it's still recording. Never mind.
So you can explore the wiki, you're going to find a tool using the search filters that were on the left-hand side that actually fits the theme of your room. And then you're going to have 4 different breakout rooms. You can take a look at communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Which one you find it's best that will help out with everybody in your room.
Yes, and we understand the rooms are going to be a little large, but that means you can participate as much or as little as you want to for this. This is a low stakes activity.
And everyone is also welcome to pull up the wiki on their own screen so that you can explore, but then communicate with your group what you're finding, and point the others in your group to things that you find relevant and how those tools are meeting the objectives that you have.
So if everyone's ready, I'll create the breakout rooms. We'll give you about maybe.
I've got it done. I'm going to open the rooms in just a second.
Okay.
So we are going to keep the rooms open for, Nicole, how are we doing on time? It's 2:31. So between 5 and 7 minutes?
That should be good.
All right. See, we're already using one of the most favorite go-to tools, Zoom. Rooms are open. You should see an invite on your screen to join the room that you have been assigned to. If you do not, on the lower part of your screen as an attendee, you should see an option for breakout room, and the breakout room option will, the assigned room will come up for you to click on.
And we will try to migrate through the rooms to provide guidance as well.
Correct.
Do you want me to jump from room to room?
Oh, good. Most people are able to bump in right away.
I'll jump around, see what everybody's doing.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to go for about another minute or two in the rooms. Anybody have any questions in the interim?
They're wrapping up in the other room, Nicole.
Back in our, we're not back in the main room, or is everybody back yet?
It looks like
Everybody
quite a
should be
few
back,
people
yeah.
are. We have 55 people.
Yeah, the breakout rooms are now closed, Robin, so they're definitely, everyone is out. Robin, would you like to show the navigation? I realized I glitched. I didn't put the live navigation on the screen before we threw everybody in to navigate on their own. So I sent out the broadcast message, click on Discover, that gets you in to begin navigating. If you wouldn't mind showing just a sample.
Sure.
Thank you.
So this is the main Discover page of the wiki. And when you come to the wiki from the MOOC, you are automatically limited from the original more than 500 freely available tools and tutorials. If you come from one of the modules in the MOOC, for example, if you come from Communication and Collaboration, which is module 2, that will automatically filter those resources. So instead of 500 plus, it brings it down to 451. And so those tools are relevant to communication and collaboration, which is probably the most populated section out of all of those 21st century tools. Another way you can limit further is by choosing from the objectives menu. So in the room that I was in, we were coming in from collaboration, and then we also chose collaborate from the objectives area, and that brings us down to 120 resources. And then we also narrowed further to gamification and found some resources there. So one of the questions that came up in our breakout room was which tools are freely available or have a cost, and also which tools are available through a campus or through SUNY. So the 98% of the tools, tutorials, and resources on the EmTech website are freely available. Everything is most often a freemium, meaning that it's free, but yet there's an option to purchase and get more robust feature sets. We do not have it listed of which tools are supported at a campus, but we do have narrowed it down a little bit by this category menu. This category menu can be used to limit by the type of technology, whether you're looking to create video or if you want to create portfolios. But the one essential toolbox will help you figure out which are some of those tools that are very critical, and some of them are available as a campus resource, depending on the campus. So SUNY has 64 different campuses, so it's pretty impossible to come up with that broad statement. But that's one way to find what might be used at your campus. I'm not sure if anybody would like to share some of the experiences that they've had searching through the wiki, or how they found some tools that they might want to explore further. I've seen a number of participants in the webinar. If you would like to speak from your experiences.
Why don't we start out with the communication room? What did you guys find is probably the more important tool for communication?
And that was communication and collaboration together, right? So that was the room that I was in. And we actually had participant who was somebody that had already participated in EmTech. Paula, are you still on the call? Which means you had to drop off.
Yeah, I'm still here.
You're still here, great.
Yes.
Can you share?
So no, I just found that it was very helpful to go through the course. Believe it or not, I never even created an e-portfolio. So just going through that process was rewarding for me. And I use Merlot to create my portfolio. So thought it was a great experience, and I shared that I will be using several of the tools that I discovered in my classes that I'm teaching as I go forward.
Great, thank you. Thank you. How about the critical thinking group?
Hi, it's Laura Sullivan. How are you?
Hi, Laura.
Hi. We were a little quiet, but I discovered a hypothesis, which I am currently reviewing for my department to use. We work in the English department. And I've been wanting to learn more about this, although I didn't include it in when I did the EmTech and the ePortfolio and the course. I am now looking at it. So when I did my search, that's what I found. And so I thought it was interesting that I came across it when I've been thinking about it. So it's meant to be, I guess.
Laura, can you give a quick description about
Sure.
hypothesis? I think
Yeah,
it's
so
it's gaining popularity.
Yeah, so it's kind of like basically you're going to, like, you can annotate on a document. So you would they could upload, so a professor could like create an assignment basically uploading a document, and then they can tag, and you could have a collaborative discussion on a piece, and you can actually the students can add information on it, and you can have a full-on discussion back and forth and add notes, and it's like social storytelling and like social reading, so to speak. Is that what they're saying? I could actually just read it to you. It's like I'm trying to like do it without reading it. And then you could have it. You can do comments just to the instructor. You can write comments just to yourself, or you can collaborate as a group. So it's kind of like blogging on an actual piece of literature that you would upload.
Thank you. That's one that I use, and so if I turn it on, I can go and actually annotate the web, and then I can make it. I'm not logged in now, but I could go in and I can highlight something and add a comment, and I can also make it that the public can view it, who other people who have hypothesis, or my class, or I can keep it private. So that's really nice. And then
and you could use it in your LMS as well. So like if you want to create assignments based on it. So that's always good too.
And Laura, what's breakout room were you in?
Critical thinking.
So do we have somebody from the creativity group who would like to share, or lifelong learning? Or just anybody who has any comments, past participants.
Well, I'm not sure about other people, but for me, it was incredibly overwhelming to go to a search site and see 500 some odd things that I was supposed to look through and pick one option. So when the time was up, I was still working my way through the 500 some odd items. So I never got to my one option.
So we don't want you to look at all 500 right away.
No.
We want you to search and filter based on a theme, or, today Chris Price was talking about, setting our goals for our students and what we want our students to learn in our courses. And we talked about universal design and, all of the things that are coming through the Otter Institute. This week, what are the one or two things you want to focus on for your coursework, for your work, for the assignments that you will be deploying going forward, and kind of search on that and see what comes up as a tool that could potentially help you, kind of reverse engineering it a little bit.
We take a look at backward design. What do you want to learn professionally? What do you want to learn for your students? More importantly, what is it that you need to help with your assignments? So you're taking your existing assignments. You want to make sure that they are sustainable. You don't want throwaway assignments, something that you can use over and over again. How can you use the technology to enhance it? How can you use the technology to teach the students? How can you use the technology to help you? So now that you have something that you've already been using, what is the best format to enhance it? And then go through the wiki and start narrowing down your field of options. What do you want to use it for? Do I want to collaborate with my students? Do I want to have them create a blog? Or do I want to be a lifelong learner and teach my students how to do something with social justice? So you really need to sit down and think about what it is that you want your students to learn, and then take a look at the different parameters on the filters. From there, once you select those, you'll certainly narrow down the field, and that'll very much help you to figure out which of the tools you want to explore.
Yeah, and we did realize that that short amount of time is really, it's not enough to do justice to the number of tools that are in the wiki. But hopefully, if you get a tiny bit of a taste going to the site, you can then go back into your history and access it when you do have some time. And hopefully, you might have bookmarked it as you were there. And as I think Chris said, as she was going through the presentation, you can use the wiki totally independent of the MOOC, or you can choose to go through the MOOC as well, and it will help guide you again towards picking the tools that you wish to explore. The project is open to anyone across the world. We have, I think the next slide that we were going to share was showing some of the demographics. And so as of today, there are more than 25,000 people who have registered and participated. And I think we're over 800 folks who have completed the MOOC. So I know that there's a few completers on the call here. So this is just a little bit of a visual of people from all over 150 plus countries. Since SUNY helped support the creation of this project, New York has the biggest group. It is something that anybody in SUNY and actually anybody in New York State right now can enroll and earn the digital badges and certificates at no cost. Governor Cuomo signed up with Coursera, and also the state of Tennessee. Anybody from Tennessee can sign up at no cost. If you're not in one of those groups, then it would cost $29 to get the certificate, but you could still participate in everything without paying a penny. It's just getting those certificates at the end that cost non-SUNY folks. Also, so faculty have used this project with their students. Some have assigned a single module, some have assigned a couple modules, and some have asked their students to do the full MOOC. And you can tailor it so that you can ask your students to develop the e-portfolio that is optional through the MOOC. You can ask them to tailor that, their reflections based on the content that you're teaching as well. We have just a minute or two left. I want to just take a second. I want to thank Chris and Nicole so very much for helping to share information about this great resource. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to any one of us. But we do want to say that we have a call for partnerships. We would love to be able to ask folks in the SUNY community to share information about EmTech. On the About menu, there are flyers, there's social media posts, there's email information that you can just copy, paste, and share with your students, with your colleagues. We ask that you all consider contributing new tools or resources or editing some of the tools that are there. I know on Nomani, I'm going to have to go look and see if we've taken that off of the list, but that's something that, you know, it's very hard to, you know, things go away and we need to be able to say, well, this is no longer a tool, but if you get comfortable with the concepts, you'll be able to find a similar tool. We would also like to invite anybody who completes the MOOC to become an EmTech Fellow. And as you do that, such as with Nicole and Chris, we may be able to collaborate on writing grants, writing articles, and you know, different ways that people are encouraged to help. So here are the email addresses for Christine and Nicole, and I will also put my information in the chat as well. We have 2-3 minutes for a question.
But certainly explore the wiki, go through slowly. Again, it's not designed for you to have a data dump of all this information. Think about what it is that you want to find as a tool and then use those filters and learn more. Once you start playing around with the wiki and you start learning all the different options for you, then go back and take the MOOC and learn even more and how you can really apply that.
And a question was asked, are there videos to help learn about the how to use the wiki. And on the site, there is a page that has some video tutorials on there. Need to get my cursor back. So up at the top, there's a menu for EmTechMOOC videos. And so these are all the videos that are in the MOOC. They have been created by folks throughout SUNY. Chris Price, who everybody might have met earlier today, he has been a big supporter. CPD has been a big supporter of this project, as well as many other faculty, staff, and students from across the SUNY system who have helped, have been featured in some of the videos. But down at the bottom, we have a couple tutorial videos. How do you use the wiki is this one on the bottom here. There's also how to add a tool to the wiki, how to use the discussion forums, and so they are also available. So I think we are at time. I don't think I missed any questions. Did I miss any questions, anyone? Don't think so. All right. So we will turn it over, and please certainly reach out if any questions come up, and Jamie will turn it back over to you to wrap it up.
Thanks, Robin, Nicole, and Chris. That was amazing. I just was chatting with Chris privately here, and I have known about the EmTechMOOC, but I didn't realize how robust the search features were and how you're able to drill down into it and find exactly what you're looking for. It is so helpful. And I will definitely be sharing this far and wide in all of my future endeavors here. So I really appreciate you all taking the time to present this to us today, and probably for all of the work you've been doing behind the scenes to make it happen, which is probably much more work than just this presentation. So to the audience today, I thank all of you for sticking around today. I hope that we will see all of you and more tomorrow. We start back up again at 10 o'clock. We'll have the otters up and running first thing. So, feel free to log on early just to see what they're up to. And I'll toggle between the two feeds to see whichever one's most interesting at that particular given moment. So I'll see you all tomorrow. I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon and evening, and take care. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, thank you.